Much of the conversation coming out of Davos earlier this year was absolutely unbearable and seemingly 100% unrelated to the experience of actual people living in poverty or even just not being billionaires. Was just terrible. Now there were some standouts though, which we profiled on the show. We are very lucky now to be joined by one of those standouts right now, Winnie Byanyima, the executive director of Oxfam International. Winnie, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited to have you here. I very much appreciated what you said on one of the panels that you were on at Davos. And I want to talk about that topic because you responded to a remark by the former CFO of Yahoo about the fact that the panel was focusing too much on taxation. And you made an amazing point about why focusing exclusively on unemployment rates sort of misses quite a bit about what's going on. Could you talk about that?
Yes, every year, John, I go to Davos. I go there to meet billionaires, central bank governors, presidents. They meet there. It's a festival of wealth. They fly in their private jets, and I come in on my economy seat number 54. But I come to give them a very uncomfortable message, which is that there's frightening, widening economic inequality going on, and that a few people at the top are maximizing while millions of ordinary people are struggling and sinking. So I bring them a report every year, and that's what I did this time. I told them that this year alone, last year, that the wealth of the billionaires was increasing by $2.5 billion a year a day, and that the wealth of the bottom half of humanity, 3.8 billion people, was decreasing by $500 million daily, and that 26 people alone had as much wealth as the bottom half of humanity, 3.8 billion others, and that was just not sustainable. So I go there to give them this very uncomfortable message, and that panel you're talking about, I go to answer this Yahoo boss who was shouting out employment figures being very low in America. And I wanted him to know that he was not counting good jobs. He was counting bad jobs, jobs that were humiliating people, that were trapping people in poverty.
Yeah, we often hear from politicians, but also from the media, there's a focus on these sort of quantifiable numbers. So employment rates, how the stock market is doing. They certainly seem to be missing something. When you talk about a more general approach, focusing on economic dignity, that sort of thing, how do you think we should measure how our system is working?
You know, John, we at Oxfam, we've been number crunching and putting out a report on widening economic inequality every year. And we've been telling the people in power, governments and business, that stop counting the wrong things. They keep counting growth. Growth is some economic figure that counts how much wealth is created in a country, and it doesn't count who gets that wealth, who is benefiting, who gets health, who gets education, who's living a good life. They don't count the right things. So employment figures ought to be counting real good jobs, not bad jobs that trap people in poverty, like the women I meet in America. I come there every year to attend the General Assembly of the United Nations. In the hotels where I stay, I meet there women, Black like me, who tell me that this is my first job this morning. I'm going to do my second and my third today. I'll creep into my house at 3 o'clock in the morning. I never have breakfast with my children. These are not real jobs. These are jobs without dignity. These are jobs that are trapping these people in poverty, never to improve their lives. So we want minimum wages, like in your country. There are people fighting there for a minimum wage of $15 an hour. That's not impossible. But if you've got a billionaire in office with a billionaire cabinet, this is not a message that will sink. But we have to organize and demand for real good wages, living wages for people, and the right conditions of work for ordinary people. We can't have a few people maximizing at the top while millions others, hardworking people, are trapped in poverty. And then the top dodge. They don't pay their taxes, so you don't even get healthcare, education, protection for old people and disabled people, for the ordinary people who are working hard for the rich. So they have to pay their fair share of taxes. Taxes must go into people's lives, into their health and education, into infrastructure, and ordinary people must have decent work that gives them lives of dignity.
So Winnie, Emma here, there was a lot of focus on philanthropy, voluntary philanthropy by the billionaires at Davos. Can you talk about why that's misguided in a sense? Because it seems like that philanthropy is not really helping the growing income inequality, both in the United States and worldwide.
You know, when very rich people make a lot of money and decide that they're going to spend some of it on helping poor people, we congratulate them. We say, well done. We don't scoff at it. But that's not what will create sustainable societies that are thriving. It is taxes. It's taxes, taxing, asking rich people to pay their fair share, not extra, but fair share of the profits they make, and plowing them back into people that will create the societies that are stable, that are thriving, that give everybody a chance. So nothing against philanthropy. Even Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, has said that the first responsibility of a company is to pay their taxes, their fair share of taxes. So this whole business of talking philanthropy as a replacement for taxes is wrong. Philanthropy is good, it's additional, but societies have to be run on taxes because taxes create the economies we need. They pay for a well-educated, healthy workforce, the rule of law, infrastructure, all the things that the rich need for their businesses to thrive.
Winnie Byanyima, Executive Director of Oxfam International, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, John.
Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this clip from the Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.